Hey there, friends. Good morning, and welcome to episode 480. Don't you just love that sound? I think that's an amazing sound to have in the morning. Um, for those of you who are watching, seems like the microphone's working just fine. Good morning, friends. Hey there, and thanks for dropping by. It is 6:38 a.m. Tuesday morning, and we are about to get started with the stream. Hang on, let me just organize this properly. Here, there we go. Thanks for dropping by and watching. My name is Toby. I am 41 years old, and I train to live an active, self-sufficient, and adventurous life. I do so by minding my sleep. I try to sleep between 7 and 9 hours in a night. Yesterday was 6 hours and 35 minutes according to my watch, or 40 minutes. So a lot less than 7, which puts me a little bit in the risky zone. But one night we got home late from day excursions. I think I can survive and nothing bad's going to happen to me. But generally between 7 and 9 hours in a night, I try to mind what I eat. I try to eat within my energy balance, which is about 2,200 calories in a day. And I try to eat a lot of greens and vegetables, which when we're outdoors on the day trips or doing things is proving to be somewhat difficult but not entirely undoable. I do generally feel lighter and better actually with lighter lunches and not heavy lunches and dinners, but we can talk about that another time. And I try to eat sufficient protein for my strength and muscle development goals. So that would be anywhere between, what is it? Point, 0.6 grams per pound of body weight, all the way up to maybe 1.5 grams. 1.5 grams. Sorry, it just sounds like something strange is going on. But sounds like it's passed. If I hear it again, I'll go check it out. So anything between 0.6 grams to 0.6 grams to per kilogram of body weight, all the way up to give or take 1.5 kilos per kilogram of body weight. So it's 2 kids on their way out, checking it out. Dutch or English? Speak Dutch or English? Nederlands?
Oh ja?
Ja? Hij staat deze kant op, dus als je daar loopt ben je niet de camera. Als je wil dat ik hem even uitzet, moet je het ook zeggen.
Dus we kunnen gewoon hier.
Je kunt daar een trapje af, dan zit je er niet op. Ja? Oké. Let's make sure that they are not caught on camera. There we go. So anywhere between what should we put it? 1.5 grams per kilogram of body weight to about 0.6 grams, I think, per kilogram of body weight. So anyway, I calculated it anywhere to be between 70 grams up to 150 grams or 120 grams, give or take, to support my strength and fitness goals. Sorry, very interrupted morning here, but you let me know in chat what you think about that. And then I also work on my training. So I do strength training, I do conditioning training, I do strength conditioning training, endurance training, HIIT training, mobility training. A mixed bag of training in different modalities for different purposes and outcomes. And I think for general health and fitness, that variety of training is sufficient. I don't have a specific goal in mind. It's not like I'm training to run a marathon. It's not like I'm training to run a marathon. It's not like I'm training to lift the heaviest weight I am capable of lifting. It is very simply the act of training to keep my bone mineral density up, to keep my strength and muscle level up, to maintain my cardiovascular health is what we're after through this training and through this program. So that is the full package. Besides that, with mobility, obviously working on my range of motion. Besides that, I try to spend time with people I love and care about. Invest in my relationships with my family, obviously, consciously making an effort to show up and be active and be an active part of their lives, be interested in things that they're interested in, do things together, build shared memories, have fun together, um, you know, live a good life together and find meaning and purpose in that, as well as doing things that I enjoy, doing things for the sake of doing them, for the fact that they make me happy, and because they make me happy, I am going to probably be happier for having done them. And generally, I try to live a stress-free life. So hey, if any of that is of interest to you, you go ahead and um, you let me know in chat, say hi, take a look at my channel, and we can continue this conversation. Now, for today, I wanted to talk to you about whether 80 is the new 40. And I know that um, there's a lot of talk about longevity and life expectancy and people getting older and people going to live to be 150. And I want to first just quickly address the hype versus the reality as I see it, because I'm no expert. But then as we discuss that, bring that back to the basics, the things you and I can do every day to help stay fit and healthy for this life that we have in different situations. But let's start with the big picture, because there's been longevity or juventology or gerontology, depending on what you name it, research already spanning decades and decades, right? And the last 20 years, there maybe have been some breakthroughs and some discoveries, and also some scientists that have been become a bit more vocal, or doctors or influencers who've become a bit more vocal about the idea that we can live to be 100 or beyond, or maybe even some of them saying we can live forever, that we can stay young, that we can stay capable, and that our bodies and minds don't need to give out or deteriorate the way we might currently expect them to do. There are two different ideas that are usually being tossed together here. YouTube punk, good morning. Thanks for dropping by. I hope you're doing well. In Texas, I understand it's getting warmer and warmer over there, but I hope the heat's not getting to you and that you're able to keep up with um, everything in life that you need to keep up with. And it's good to see you. And you know, I am really going to miss this place when we fly back home, and it's going to be a big change Saturday morning, I think, when you see me back in my own kitchen. But until then, let's make sure we make the most of it out here, all right? But there are two different ideas that are at play in this conversation. One is the science of aging or of staying young, and one is the idea, and I'm not even sure I want to call it science, but the idea that we can stay biologically younger than our chronological age. So, in other words, the rate at which we can um, reduce aging or stay young is going to outpace the rate at which we chronologically age or chronological time, meaning indicating that we might be able to expand our lifespan. That second one I am not concerned with at all. I don't understand it. I haven't read up on it, studied it, looked at it in any detail. And it's also not something that I can necessarily do anything about today. The other one, trying to keep my body and mind as capable and as young and as fit and as able as I would like it to be, so that I can age well, so that I can stay capable, and so that I can stay healthy for as long as I would want to be active and healthy in life. That is one that I understand a bit better. That is one that I have been interested in for years, because that has a lot to do with general health and fitness, and then with some minor um, focus points or accents to turn, 70 and healthy into 90 and healthy and thriving. And I think that is where the nuance lies here. So I am predominantly focused on that first one. I am reading up and interested in that second one as far as I understand it, but there's not a lot that I can say or do about that. I'm also not sure how much lifestyle, habits, behavior, exercise, sleep are going to factor into that. Probably they're part of the mix, but there are some other considerations there as well, I'm sure. So listen, um, is 80 the new 40? I don't know. I don't think so. From what I understand, I am still aging. I am still fighting deterioration. I am still going to slowly but surely become less capable over time. But the baseline that I set for myself in terms of what capacity is cardiovascular capacity, the stress I want to put on my bones to maintain bone mineral density, the stress I put on my cardiorespiratory system to be able to deliver output continuously. So in other words, my abilities to actually keep going in life, to keep going at the pace that maybe I'm going today, or maybe I'll be going in 10 years. Yeah, right. who needs entropy? We don't. The what I need to keep going for the next 40 years means that I need to be every day more mindful about the amount of sleep I'm getting, more mindful about how well I'm eating, more mindful about how well I'm moving, and exercise starts to become a more important role in that, but as does nutrition, as does recovery and sleep. So anywhere between now and the next 10 years, so by the time I turn 50, I should probably be aiming for those 8 hours of sleep consistently, and trying to get there if the goal is to be thriving and vibrant at 90. Now you can see where this might start to rub, right? I am in my prime years in terms of work and socializing in that sense, that these are the golden years for me to actually step up and make enough money to secure my future, the next 10, 20 years probably, and that might also involve some social engagement, some commitments, some responsibilities, maybe even incurring some stress. So there are a lot of challenges that I would face in terms of trying to balance the demands of life and living in society today with that ambition of getting to 80 or 90 and being as active and vibrant as I can be, or in relation to where I am today. So that's worth thinking about. I don't think 80 is the new 40, but I do think we underestimate how capable we can be between 35 and 75 over the course of a lifetime through the choices we make. And you see things a bit differently once you start to think about this, and I often talk about what's happening in the world, these circumstances. Are we wealthy or poorer? Are we living in an environment where we can control the food or not? Do we have are we the exposure to movement and training and sports? Do we have a supportive and nourishing environment in terms of our general health and ability? And overall, I think that we've set ourselves on a very awkward path to achieve health and fitness, meaning that it is not that normal from generation to generation to learn and understand what a regular baseline of health and fitness is, maybe because people don't know and understand, or maybe because people cannot afford to in terms of money, time, energy, and understanding of what really is true versus what is being marketed or told to them that is true. And that already sets us up in the first 20 or 30 years of life for unhealthy markers and general unhealth, and that is very likely to carry over throughout life for 60 or 70 years, and I think that's a missed opportunity. I think we can get to 80, I think we can get to a certain age, we can get to middle age, we can live from 40 to 60 or 70, being relatively active. There are always going to be extremes, people who are super muscular, super strong, or running marathons and doing all kinds of crazy endurance and physical things. But we can be relatively active compared to the average, but also compared to our own expectations, and reap the benefits of that. We can be relatively mindful of what we eat and drink. Like I said, there is a general baseline of health and fitness that we might want to adhere to, and then there are the accents we can put on that to turn, healthy 70 into healthy 90. But those might be somewhat extreme for people, like not drinking any alcohol, for example, or being very rigorous about the amount of sleep that we're getting, optimizing that to be between 8 and 9 hours every day. That can take a toll on your social life or your ability to go out and do things, or the amount of training and activity you want to invest in actually, because at one point I think just being active, it doesn't make you frail, but it doesn't keep you strong. So how much training, how much lifting, how much endurance work you want to or are capable to do to actually maintain um, that level of capacity that provides you with the physical freedom, the physical range of motion, physical capability to actually go out and do the things you want to do on your own without fear or risk of falling and getting injured, and putting yourself on a detrimental path. Um, there might be an upper limit to what we are willing to do um, to stay healthy for that long. Right now, I am convinced that I am going to be willing to do the things that I'm doing now for the next 50 years. But check in with me in, 35,000 episodes to see whether that remained true or not. I can't predict the future. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think 80 is the new 40. I think 80 will come with its own unique challenges, as will 90, as will maybe being a centenarian, being 100. But I do think that we can redefine what it actually means to be 40 years old. And I do think that we can redefine what it means to be healthy at 30, healthy at 40, healthy at 50, and healthy going into our 60s, and what it means to be fit and active in those age brackets, and how that focus on health and fitness, one, fits into the unique challenges of life that we have at this stage in life, but two, also how that sets us up better for those last 30 years of life. So I'm saying the last 30 years are going to be 70 to 30. So I just want you to imagine you have 0 to 30, then you've got 30 to 60 or 30 to 70, right? Which is a reasonable amount of years to expect yourself to be active and capable and on the go and doing things. And then there are those years from 70 to 100 that we are only now really starting to come to terms with, that we might actually need um, to be fit and healthy in those years because of the things that we want to do and want to invest time in and spend time on and actually make of our lives, because we are going to be around. It is not unlikely that you're going to be alive at 70. I think the question you need to ask yourself is, how am I going to be alive at 70? Am I going to be alive at 70 and be thriving? Or am I going to be alive at 70 sitting around and waiting to perish? And I can give you an example from my personal circle, where I look at my parents who have recently become more active, and they are in their mid-70s now, right? I've been worried about them for a long time. They've seen me being active. It was never that we at home, the children, wanted for any kind of activity or sport. But over the past 10 years, they haven't, for different reasons, been active at all. And then they did a fall prevention course for senior citizens, which I thought was actually a very good idea for them to participate in something like that. So they went out and they did this fall prevention course, and something's changed. So at this age, they've done like 6 months of moving, of learning how to move their body, of stabilizing, of building some muscle and some strength, of building some cardiorespiratory ability. And you see them changing immediately. You see them becoming more active immediately. You see them playing differently with their grandchildren immediately. So it's never too late, even with minor changes, to regain some of that health and fitness. But some things become so far out of reach that what I talked about, the investment of trying to get to a certain level of health, trying to get to a certain level of fitness, trying to reverse a certain level of deterioration that is surely happening requires more and more effort and output that we may not be able to deliver at different ages. I'm not saying you can't, I'm saying you may not be able to deliver for whatever reasons you might have as a human being, trying to um, live a long and healthy and fit life. So yeah, I think you can expect to be alive at 80. I think you can expect to be capable at 80 if you do the basics. And the basics are the things that I talk about constantly. They are minding our sleep, making sure that we prioritize and sleep sufficiently, trying to hit, for me, 7.5 hours, working up to 8 hours, where and when is absolutely possible. Because sleep is like your longevity superpower. Basically, it is something that is going to help you stay fit today, but also stay fit and capable for the future. It is about minding what we eat. We've talked about the environment we live in, right? That there are probably around twice as many calories in our direct vicinity as we actually require to consume for our energy needs in a day. So understanding and learning the discipline of temperance when it comes to our food intake. That there is a breakfast, that there is a lunch, that there is a dinner, that there is a snack, and that there are times where maybe we can feast, but there are also times that we need to be very mindful, and probably more times that we need to be very mindful than we would like to believe. Then there is the activity, right? We've talked about how much we actually tend to move in a day and how much we actually tend to sit in a day. Right now I'm talking to you and I'm sitting, but I'm about to go into the gym for I might actually go for a walk around um, the coast, but it's just easier to be in the gym because then we can start the day program. But just on an incline treadmill, 30 minutes, get that heart rate up to 50, 60%. Not more, nothing crazy, but just getting that activity in, just like we're going to be out for the day and we're going to be active for the day and we're going to be doing things together for the day, which might involve some climbing, walking, stairs, sitting, sightseeing, carrying, lifting, moving around. Basically all of the things that we were made to do, and complementing that active lifestyle, so just doing things throughout the day with training to ensure that we maximize the capacity that we want to maintain. Because I think that is the role that training should play in our lives. It shouldn't be about training to get as strong as possible, training to get as durable as possible, but it should be about the kinds of activities that we want to be able to do, and then the kind of training that we need to be doing to maintain the capacity to actually do those kinds of activities. And if we're doing that, and if we're doing those basics, then we can also look at, the other aspect of health, which is our social and emotional health. So are we connected to people we love and care about, or do we need to invest and rebuild or build on those relationships? Are we a part of communities where we get a sense of connection around topics that we're interested in, that we're passionate about, with other like-minded people, where we can have debates, discussions, interactions that are nourishing at an intellectual and emotional level? Do we feel good about life? Do we have a positive outlook on life and on the future? Do we want to be around? Do we think that life is worth living? And that's one that's also worth exploring. And I think that if you have communities and relationships and you're fit and healthy, and you have a decent standard of living, where you can do the things that you want to do, then probably the whole picture is kind of appealing and good for you, and you are okay with where life is taking you. I don't think 40 and 80 are the same thing, but I think that the image we have of an 80-year-old is not necessarily the reality of what 80-year-olds need to be. And I think it's going to be an interesting 40 years of medical progress, of technological progress, of scientific progress, of societal progress that is going to show us exactly um, how well we can age and how um, functional our minds and bodies can stay for the time we're given um, under this wonderful blue sky with these amazing sunrises, friends. Thanks for dropping by, saying hi, YouTube Punk. I hope you're doing well where you're at. I appreciate you dropping by and saying hello. And I hope life's going to treat you well this Monday night. I think it is for you, going into Tuesday morning. I'm going to get that 30 minutes of morning activity in, and then we're going to get started with the rest of the day. And we have enough to do for sure. Remember, friends, this is about the way I feel, not about the way I look. I want to feel fit, capable, and competent for what life throws at me. I have two major goals, which is to get healthy and be healthy and fit when I'm 80, and to set a good example and to be an active part of my children's life that translates into at least 30 minutes of training every day and a general active lifestyle. Um, I want us to remember that we're good just the way we are. We've got to love ourselves before we can move on. It's the person we are today that's going to get us to where we want to be tomorrow. And a bit of kindness is going to go a long way. There are enough people out there who want to put us down, so we lift ourselves up, all right? And the only way to get anything done, friends, is by showing up and doing the work. So I will see you tomorrow. And remember, friends, subscribe.